Hi there! This video is a recording of a live webinar, so you may hear references to live questions or features as they appeared at the time. With that in mind, let's dive in.
Today's webinar is going to be on the products tab and all the bits in there. Obviously, there's ways to create products when you're actually in jobs and stuff like that. But there's loads of other different kind of bits that go into that, such as like obviously setting the suppliers up, making sure they're correct, configuring kind of like decimal quantities to be enabled on there, as well as adding your tyre brands, your stock management, and also the fast parts section as well. And we'll go through how the fast parts section works actually on the jobs kind of near at the end on there. Now, as I say, it is on products today. If there are any questions on that or anything kind of on the TechMan system specifically, if it's on the TechMan system generally, I'll answer those at the end. If it's kind of specific to products, I'll obviously go through them when I see the Q&As come through. Just a couple of people in the waiting room, so I'll just let them join and then we will make a start. But I hope you've all had a lovely couple of weeks since the last webinar. I think everyone is just about come in now that is in the waiting room there. So hi guys, lovely to have you on again this week. As I said, it will be on the products tab this week on there. So obviously a lot of you guys will be utilizing the system mainly for like the calendar, the booking in process, invoicing and all stuff like that. But a really kind of good part of it as well is being able to store and track all of your products within the system as well. When I say products, I mean parts. I know some people call them products, some people call them parts. Down as products on here, but parts products meaning the same thing in there. So just going on to search products, it's just the first option on this section. What you're able to see at first is the stock levels on here. Now there's two ways that you can do your products, and to be honest it's kind of a 50-50 split, to be honest, with whether our customers do one or the other of these options that I'm just going to go through. So you can track or non-track your products. So having the tracks option enabled will give you the ability to see in products on purchase orders, making the kind of process of you sending out a purchase order to having it bought in and all things in between, like having it in a sent function. Then you'll be able to receive it in with the invoice number that is for that product, as well as like the invoice date that you saw it into your garage on as well. Now having that tracked also means that purchase order will always be there, and what it also means is that the stock level will automatically update on there for you as well. But obviously it's a little bit more time consuming, which is absolutely fine for some garages, but some garages obviously like things to be done in the quickest way possible on there. So what we have on there for any garages that kind of want that is the non-tracked kind of option on there. And in the non-tracked option, that basically means that you don't have to, well, it won't create purchase orders for you. So all you do is add it to the system and then it's there. You don't have to do anything else with it. Now, admittedly, that will not adjust any stock for you. You'll have to do that manually. I will show you how to do that in a little while on here, how to do it manually. But it also won't mean there's an accurate kind of paper trail of when the product was bought in and things like that. But as I say, it is less time consuming. So you've got the more kind of efficient way in terms of the track and trace side, or you've got the more efficient way in terms of the time side on there between the differences between tracked and non-tracked. Just going on to settings and general settings, you have got the products and labor section. You've got the ability to default new products to tracked and non-tracked. Now the key thing is here, if you have like 20 products and they were tracked and then you set it to non-tracked, the existing 20 will still be in a tracked status whenever you like add them again to jobs and stuff like that. That's just one thing to bear in mind on that specific section. In there, I'll just save the changes that we actually, I don't think we changed that, but no harm in saving it anyway. So on here you've got your products. So to this testing product that we've got here, and as you can see, it has a 1 litre option here, and this is because it's one of 2 webinar test products that we created to just kind of go through this and show you what the kind of box quantity element does. So in true kind of Blue Peter fashion, we'll show you ones that we did earlier on here, and just show you kind of how you would set those side by side. I'll just find the other one in this. What was that one? That was the 1 litre one. So here's the barrel. So in here, this is basically like connecting up the barrel and the kind of 1 litre product. So on the 1 litre, what you've got is you've got the sell price on here. And to allow it to do decimal quantities. So if you've got a barrel of oil, you'll create a barrel and then you'll create a 1 litre version of that. And the 1 litre version is the one that you would add to the job on there. And you will allow decimal quantities so that you don't have to put 1, 2, 3. You can put 3.5, 2.7. Obviously, make it a lot more accurate, for you on there, for you guys to kind of go forward and book all of the products in. So that's what you would do for the 1 litre, the setup on there. Now for the barrel, I've just called it testing 167, but you can call it like testing 167. We're going to call the product number, and you could put in brackets barrel on there, just so that you guys know what the difference is. Obviously, you'll have the 1 litre anyway, but if you have barrel on there, I mean, there's just no way of getting confused there, which is obviously helpful. And you would put the cost price on there, but not the sell price. So sell price you just put on the 1 litre, cost price you just put on the actual barrel itself. And then here's quite a key thing on here. You would hit configure box quantity, then put the product code of the 1 litre barrel, so that the system knows there are 199 litres available to be sold on that barrel. So if we were to add that to a job and it would then get invoiced, that would go down to 196. If I was to add 3 litres on, it would go down to 196 litres on there. You would also, even if all your products were clicked as non-tracked, for this to work, for it to connect, you would need to hit them as tracked on here in the top right hand corner, on there. So that's how you would set up your box quantities. Now, I always demo these kind of on trainings as barrels and stuff like that, but even if it's like a box of 6 light bulbs, for example, you can put that in there. You can put the box in there for how much you kind of bought the box in, and then what you want to sell the individual light bulbs for example. That's just another example of things that you can do on here. It's obviously called box quantity, so kind of says it in the name. If it's a box or a barrel or something, a larger thing storing individual things that you can sell, whether that be liquids or solids, you can obviously put that through on here. I know a couple of you have just joined, by the way. I was just going through box quantities and configuring them. There is a Q&A part of this system, the webinar system on here. If you have got any questions or want me to re-go over anything at the end, let me know and I can absolutely do that for you. No worries at all. So if I then go off of here, I'll just go back onto the search products. I will just hit save on there, and then we'll go to suppliers and depots, which is the second option down in here. So obviously self-explanatory what a supplier is. Anyone that supplies your products. Now, I'm sure if you guys have had the system for even a couple of weeks, you will know that any products that you add will need a supplier. And what can be annoying sometimes is if I know on training we go through and give the option to create suppliers for you, but I know some people like to just be shown and then do it themselves, which is absolutely fine. But if you ever forget to put one of your suppliers on there, it's always a little bit annoying when you go to add the product, realize you can't add it without a supplier, and you need to go back and add that supplier in. So just to help you guys mitigate that kind of situation from happening for you on here, what you're able to do is hover over products on here and hit suppliers and depots. Then in there, if you hit all suppliers, you have the common TechMan theme of a plus button here, like with whatever, whether it's personnel, labour units, personal holidays, anything on their users, you've got obviously the plus button in the top left hand corner that you can add whatever page is correlating to. You can add something to there, in this case suppliers. So you can add the plus button on here. I think there's a lot of things called test on there, so I'll just do webinar example. Make it look a little bit professional, like it was a proper supplier. And then the 4 fields that do need to be filled out for this is the company name, the address, the postcode, and the telephone number. But if you don't have those to hand or whatever, you can just put full stops and then the telephone number will put a 0 in. Not the end of the world if you don't. It's more, TechMan system makes it mandatory to have those fields in, but that's only because it's like helpful to you guys. So if you guys, if you can find the address, that's perfect. It's very helpful on there. But if you can't find the address and you don't really mind, just put the full stops in there. It's not going to affect anything for the TechMan system. The only thing it will affect is you guys not being able to see an address. If you guys don't really mind, absolutely fine in there. That's it. Like with a few things on TechMan, like I've gone through on the webinars in previous weeks, TechMan system is very flexible. So like with this, you do need something in there, but it can just be a full stop and that will work. So it's not going to like penalize you if you don't have that in there. So I've added that in with the save button at the bottom here in the middle. Then if I go to all suppliers, we can see, there it is right in front of me. Webinar example limited has been added. Now, if any of you, because we do add a default something like 10, 12 suppliers on there, if there's any suppliers that you don't use and you don't want them being listed when you're like looking for suppliers on a job or whatever, you can go into edit. So I'll go on to I'll go on to GSF test. In fact, no, I'll add a full new one just in case because whenever you disable a supplier, it also means the products that are attached to that are defunct as well, which obviously you need to be quite careful with doing. So I'll just put deletable supplier on there. To which deletable isn't a word, so you just have to do that. There we go. So I'll hit save on there. And then that'll be on the suppliers list here, just there. And then if you wanted to disable them, you can hit edit and then you can disable them in here. The only thing that will mean is any products that were ever added to a job via that supplier, the products would then become like defunct in the system. That could mess up some jobs in there as well. So just be mindful of that when you are deleting or disabling suppliers in there, or if you need to, you can change the supplier of the product if that's, obviously that usually wouldn't happen because it would be a real product that was bought in, but occasionally that can happen in there. Yes, I do want to save that. So if we go back to all suppliers, what you can also do is drag and drop with these 3 dots on there to the side. You can drag and drop the order of these as well. Some people like it to be in alphabetical order so it's easy for them to find. Some people like it to be in order of like newly added. You can order it in what you want. Absolutely fine in there. So going back in here, you've got your categories and subcategories. Now, we very rarely, to be honest, we'll slightly mention it in training, but we never usually go through it because a lot of the stuff is actually already preset. I mean, a lot of you'll have, as it says on here, brakes, cooling, heating, electrical, engine. There's not really many other things that loads of people want to add. However, if you do want to add stuff or even take stuff out, you absolutely can. So on here, you can hit the plus button again if you want to add something, and then if you go on to edit on here, you can disable that in the enabled section. Now, whilst we're in here, what you'll see is new subcategories. And this is kind of the reason we do offer to go through this on training. Again, not many people really consider this is that important, so we'll go through it always at the end if we've got time. But the subcategories can be a bit more important because they are things that you guys can add in. Well, you can add the categories in yourselves, but the subcategories is what some people like to add in themselves because it can be quite garage specific. The subcategories. The way to add one of these is literally I'll just put test webinar on here. You can select the nominal codes. Well, I say you can. If the category had nominal code selected, the subcategory would have those already implemented. For some reason this one doesn't, but again, it's just our testing system, so it's not the end of the world. And then you can always add new subcategory in there, like so, hitting add new subcategory, and it's just in there. And then obviously when you're creating a product, you can select the category that it would go under as well. So that's how you would get things on them, like so. And hopefully you're seeing things now marry up with how, like how the box quantity configures and how those marry up, how the categories and the product creation, how that marries up on there as well. Like there's loads of ways, especially in products, because a lot of things have to be, done really, really accurately. It's a little bit different to like label lines. Obviously, yes, label lines have to, still have to be done accurately, but you can add a standard label rate for everything if you wanted, whether it be a timing belt change to a brake fluid change to just like an oil filter. You can add the same price of that if you want to because it's your labor, whereas this has to be a lot more specific because it is the product that you're selling as well. So hopefully you guys can see that all coming together a bit and marrying up. If you can't, or if there's any questions, as I said before, there is a Q&A. Please feel free to put questions in there. Last couple of weeks we've had some really good questions that I've answered, and I think they've helped more than just the person that asked the question. So feel free to put stuff in there if you would like to. Now I just need to get an example up here, so I'll just get this mushroom patch one up. So in products and then stock management. Now, if you track your products, this page isn't really going to be that needed for you because your tracked products will go up and down in terms of the stock quantity when you receive the purchase order in, and then when you invoice like that job out with that part on there. However, if you are doing it manually, and that would be if your products are not tracked, this is how you would adjust the stock quantities on there. So you would put the product number in this box here. I'll just copy that, and then it will give you the option. I know I've copied the exact thing, but you do just need to click it just so, just so that it equates and attached is what I meant to say, sorry, not attracts, so that it attaches to that correct product on there. Then the stock adjustment, so currently you can see it's on 24 and which site it's on. If you're one garage, you don't need to worry about that. If you guys are a multi-site, this is where you would see what the site is that stock is actually referring to on there. And as you can see, it says there's 24 on here at the moment. So if I wasn't happy with that in terms of knowing there was a lot less than 24, I could put -6, and that would go down by 5. That would go down by 6 because I've literally just -6, which would then show 18. So if I go back onto here, you can now see that there's 18 showing in there. Now, so if I wanted to add 6 back, I would just put 6 in there. You don't need to add the plus button. You could just put a positive amount on there and then hit commit to stock adjustments. And now you can see that there are 24 bits left in there, like so. So that's how you would adjust your stock. And again, as I said, that's mainly for people whose parts are not tracked in there. Now, if your parts are tracked, there will be an accurate stock adjustment thing on there. But if for whatever reason you guys maybe didn't put everything through accurately, or there was any user error, or you just didn't put through that bit of stock onto TechMan for whatever reason, as I say, everyone uses TechMan slightly differently. If you didn't, you can obviously still come in here. is not just for people who don't track their products, it's just a lot more useful for people who don't track their products. If you do track products, you can still use this element of the system absolutely fine on there. So hovering over products, you have got the tyre brands as well, which, similar to the supplier list, but this is obviously for tyres. Now, I haven't gone through how to add a tyre yet, which I will do now we've gone on to the tyre brands. But similar to the suppliers, this is, you just need to make sure all your tyres are correct in there. Now, if I go to search products and then go to new product up here, if you wanted to add a tyre specifically, you can hit product is a tyre. You can hit that button up here in the top left, and then that will bring through all of the tyre sizes, like the widths needed, the diameter, all stuff like that. Now, if you didn't want to fill these out, and don't worry, not every garage does, you can untick that and you can add the tyre as a normal product. The only thing that would kind of maybe be an issue, something that wouldn't happen if you didn't click it as a tyre, is that in the tyre lookup on the job, and I'll just go into one of our demo jobs just to show you this. So in the tyre lookup, if you wanted to use that, which is this section here, if you wanted to use that section and you wanted stuff to come up accurately, you would need to fill those tyre bits in on the product. If you didn't mind it not coming up accurately and you were fine to just add it as a tyre without all of those bits in, that is okay. You can do it either way. Again, TechMan being flexible for you guys as the customer, either way is absolutely fine. Whether you want to just add it as a normal product like this, or if you look in the top left-hand corner and hit product is a tyre, you can hit that, and then it will bring through all of the elements below on there for you. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. If it doesn't, please put a question in the question box and we can obviously help out on there. I know I don't need to save that. Now, fast parts. So the last bit of products is fast parts, and this is a really, really beneficial bit for you guys if you want to save time, and also if you're adding a lot of similar bits to various jobs. And there is a section called custom jobs in labor units, which is a very, very similar function, pretty much identical function actually, on there as well. So with this, if I go to product number and just typed in like the webinar test oil, and I wanted to add this 1 litre to it and hit add on here. I'm doing this in the top left, by the way, if anyone's struggling to see where it is. If I hit add on there, straight away you can see that has now added right at the bottom here. Along with the other 4 that I've added, on any job now, it will come up in the fast parts lightning bolt. So if I go onto the job, I will just quickly refresh the page, just make sure it's saved on there for that page as well. So if you all see this fast parts section that I'm hovering between create product and kind of the integration part, if I hit that, it will come up with the 5 products that are in fast parts. But the great thing is, it doesn't mean you can only add 1. If I wanted to add all 5 products onto here and hit add fast parts, also if I wanted to, like for this consumables, if I wanted to add 4 on there, and then maybe 2 on the sundry, and hit add fast parts, all of them add together on there. You've obviously got the 4 consumables, 2 sundries on there. So that's your way of being able to add everything as quickly as possible. And I do obviously appreciate this is all on products, but I know I mentioned about you can do that in labor as well. So if you go into jobs and labor units on here, say if I was to just go on like the diag one on here, you can add it to I don't know why I'm pointing because you can't see where my mouse is. Add to custom jobs list. You can save that, and then the lightning bolt in the labor unit section of a job. Custom jobs. There's a few stuff already added in. That's how you would add it on the labor side as well. As I say, I know this was mainly for products, but you can do that in labor as well. So it's just beneficial if I said that as well on there. And guys, that's kind of everything for the products tab. When it comes to like the products list, adding new products, configuring box quantities as well. What you'll have seen in there as well is that I added obviously a litre of the oil to that job, and it's actually now adjusted the stock in there as well to 198, just as a side note for you guys on there as well. So we've obviously gone through that, gone through how to add suppliers and subcategories, shown the processes of adjusting the stock management in that system as well. And I know I said about the tracked and non-tracked, but anyone can use it. It is probably going to be used more by people who don't track their products, purely because the tracking, an element of the tracking and a benefit of it is that it will adjust the stock for you. But as I say, you're not doing anything wrong if you don't track products. It's just a different way of doing it. And as I said at the beginning, I think it's pretty much just going off of the training that I've done and who has tracked and who has non-tracked. It's pretty much a 50-50 split between our garage clientele. So you're not doing anything wrong if you're tracking or non-tracking. They're both absolutely perfectly fine options in there. And then the last part was just fast parts on here. You can add any products onto here, and it's basically enabling you to add stuff quickly and add stuff multiply as well, so you can do it all at the same time if you want to in there.
Thanks for watching. For more TechMan webinars, updates and training content, don't forget to subscribe and explore our other videos. See you next time.